Once again, my name is Miss Heidi. I am one of the children's librarians at Santa Clara County Library District. I'm here with you today to do one of our kids' art club programs. Today, we are going to be making snowflakes. Before we get started, I just want to introduce you to a couple of important people. We have Miss Holly here with us. She's going to be moderating over on Facebook. And we have Miss Jennifer here with us. She's going to be moderating the Zoom comments. So if you have any questions, you can type those in on Facebook if you're watching there, or on Zoom if you're here with us. These are the supplies that you're going to need for today. You should have received the supply list in your email or in the event calendar. On the screen, I have some helpful info for Zoom. So you're in here right now without access to audio or video, so you won't be able to talk to us, but if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A at the bottom of your screen to type something in, and we will try to answer your questions as soon as we can. We will be recording this, and you will be able to watch this after on Facebook on our SCCLD page. Okay, I'm gonna put up our supply list one more time in case you have to go grab anything. The first project we're going to be doing is the watercolor glue snowflakes, and you will need the paper, the salt, which table salt is fine, glue, and then your watercolor paint and paintbrush or dropper. You're also going to need a little water. And if you don't have watercolor paint, you can also substitute some food coloring. That will work too. And after we do the watercolor snowflakes, we are going to be doing some cut snowflakes, and that's when you will need the paper, your stapler, scissors, and the string. The string is optional. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our projects. So the first project we are going to make today are our glue snowflakes. And what you're going to need is a couple of pieces of paper. You're going to need a little bit of salt. So if you want, you can get a little bowl. I have a dropper. If you have one of these, it's really fun. But if you don't, you can just use a paintbrush. You need some wet glue, liquid glue. And you need some watercolor paints. Mine are pretty well used. All right, let's get started. Let's start by getting our glue opened up. And get one of your sheets of paper ready. The first thing we want to do is we're going to make a snowflake out of glue. So if you'd like, you can draw this out with a pencil, probably not a pen, but if you have a pencil, you can sketch it out, and I'm going to walk you through the process. Or if you want, and you're feeling pretty confident, you can go ahead and just get started with your glue. All right, so let's make a pretty big snowflake for our first one. We're going to make a cross across the page. So you can do one line of glue, make sure it's continuous. Okay, and we'll start from the top. And we'll go down. Okay. All right. Now that you have that, you can go ahead and make a little circle right in the middle. And just fill it in with the glue. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make some little branch-like lines off of the long lines. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 3 on that side, and then let's do that over here, and we're going to do that on each line. 2, 3. And then let's do it down here, 2, 1, 2, 3. And let's put it over here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll give you a few seconds to catch up with me. Make sure that you have all of your glue lines ready. Don't put your hands in it. You don't want to mess it up, so be careful. I'm going to make this one a little bit more solid just by pushing some of the glue over. Maybe I'll make this one a little bit more solid too. I want a continuous line of glue. Okay. Once you're there, you're going to go ahead and get your salt. Now, I'm going to get a little spoon. You can go ahead and get a little spoon at home too, so this doesn't get too messy. Here's my little spoon. I'm just going to take a little bit of the salt on your spoon and then we're going to sprinkle it over. This is just like a fine table salt that we're using. Make sure we cover up all of our glue. You don't have to worry about it being too even. Just make sure that the glue gets covered up. I just want an even coating. All right, we're almost ready here. Okay, so once you have your snowflake covered up, what you're going to do is maybe on top of a piece of newspaper, hopefully at home, you can just kind of sift that salt back and forth so that it's completely covering up. And then maybe over the newspaper or over your trash can, you can go ahead and just pour out the excess salt. So I'll give you a minute to go do that, and then we'll go on to the next step of our process. See you back in a minute. Okay, once you've gone ahead and gotten rid of your excess salt, your snowflake should look a little bit like this. The next thing we need to do is just kind of push it off to the side for a minute and bring over your paints so you can look. You can choose whichever color you want. I think I'm going to start with a purple today. So what you want to do is get a little bit of water and you're going to mix it. You can either mix it right in your palette or maybe on a little paper plate if it's a sturdy one, or in a cup. Might be even better. You're going to mix up your color. Make it a little thick. You want it to be, you don't want it to be too light, otherwise it's going to look mostly like water. A little bit more purple, and mix it in. Okay, so my purple's all set. I'm going to go ahead and move this off to the side. I'm going to make sure that my area is clean. I'm going to bring my paper back over. I will give you 10 seconds to finish mixing up your paint, and then we'll move on to our next step. Okay, so now is the time that we are either going to use our dropper or our paintbrush. I think what I'll do is I'll start with the paintbrush because I have a feeling a lot of you have paintbrushes at home and maybe not so many with the droppers. So what we want to do is get a little bit on our paintbrush, a little bit of the paint, make it a little drippy, and we're just going to touch the salt. Ooh, you see how the salt is absorbing that paint and then it spreads? So have fun with this part. Just touch a little bit to your salt and then watch it just expand and absorb into that salt and move. It's pretty fun to watch. And if you think that your paint is a little bit too thin and it looks almost clear, go ahead and add more color. And you can always go back, and you don't want to get the page too wet though, so try, if you don't like it right away, change your color. Maybe you want to do more than one color, and you can do that. Go ahead and mix some more colors up, and you can have a multicolored snowflake. My snowflake is pretty dark purple. I might add some blue in here too. And what the dropper looks like is you squeeze, you don't squeeze there, you squeeze into the paint and then it absorbs, or it pulls up in the dropper some of that paint. And then you can just drop it on there like that. It gives you a little bit more freedom for choosing how much is going to come out, so you can squeeze it however much paint you want. If you squeeze harder, you'll get a lot more. Okay. I think I want some blue too, so I'm going to mix up some blue really quick so I can add that in. I already had a little bit of the blue and the green and the purple from when I was working on this the other day, but you guys can use your paint palettes to do that right now too. Mixing up a little bit of blue. And I'm just going to use my dropper to pull up a little bit of it for my snowflake. See, that salt is holding in that water. These look like crystal snowflakes almost. All right, once you're happy with this, we can go ahead and move on and do another type of snowflake. We're going to just do another glue and salt one, but we can do a different design. If you'd like, you can choose a different piece of paper, or you can add more around. If you do that, you'll just have to be very mindful about jumping off to the side so that you don't get the salt back on this one and the watercolor doesn't run. For now, I think I'm going to choose a different piece of paper to show you. Let's do one more quick one, and then we will do our paper snowflakes. So let's get our glue. Maybe we will do a little one this time. So draw one line across, and then draw another line across like this. And then you're going to draw another line across here, and another line across here. And now we're just going to make some little branch lines coming out of the end of each one. With the glue. They look like little Ys, the letter Y. Okay. And you know what to do. We need the salt. Let's use our salt again. I'm going to sift my salt around on the page. Don't forget to shake out the rest. And now you're going to make your next color. I want this one to be a little bit green. Let's make a little bit of green together down here. I want mine to be a little bit darker. There we go, that's a nice green. Go ahead and use my dropper. Some nice green paint in there. And let's just squeeze it out onto our snowflakes again. Once we're done with these, you can let them dry, and then you can cut them out a little bit closer. You could hang them up. And you can have them as decorations in your house during the winter. Or if you want, you can just be doing these for process. You don't have to be for the final product. It can be more about the fun experience during this project. It's very relaxing to sit here and just color the salt. So you could do that too. All right, we're all done with our salt snowflakes. So you can let those dry and then decide what you want to do with them after. And now we're going to move on to our paper snowflakes. All right, let's get started with our second project with the snowflakes. We're going to make some little 3D snowflakes that look like this. What you're going to need is some paper. You're going to need a stapler, a pair of scissors, and some string. This is somewhat optional. You don't have to have the string. And then you'll need some glue. Okay. I'll give you just about 30 seconds to grab your materials and shift into this project. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move some of my materials out of the way. I'm going to choose one piece of paper. It's okay if you don't have a square. What you want to do is fold the paper exactly in half. And then you're going to give it a nice fold. And then what you can do is you can either cut it along this line so that you have the two halves, or if you're confident about your folding and ripping skills like I am, you can go ahead and bend it the other way and give it a really nice hard fold. I go back and forth a couple of times, making sure that my fold is very creased. And then once I have that, I'll open it up and then I'll put my finger up here to hang on to it and then just rip down. So now I have my two halves right here. I'm going to start with just one. I'll give you a few seconds to finish that up. And then once you have your half, the first thing we want to do is fold this in half lengthwise. So make sure you have that exactly folded halfway. So now we have two halves. And now you're going to fold this again. So make sure you get it folded exactly in half. Give it a nice fold. So now you'll see that we have 4 parts. And we want one more fold. So this one's going to be the toughest because it's getting a little bit thicker. So go ahead and make sure you do it just right by folding down this side with these 2 fingers while you fold this part over, and it matches up with those corners perfectly. And then give it a nice crease. Okay, now you're going to open it all the way up, and you should have 8 little folds. Okay. Now what we need to do is fold this up like an accordion. So if you've ever made a fan out of a piece of paper, you'll know what to do. And if you don't, just follow along with me. I'll try to go slow. So you're going to hold your paper at the top, and you want to fold this top part in. And now we want to fold it backwards. So we're going to go the opposite way each time. So now I'm folding this one in, and now I'm folding it out. And now I'm folding it in, and now I'm folding it out. In, and out. Okay, so that it's like a nice little accordion there. Then once you have it folded like an accordion, you are going to put a staple right in the middle. And you might have to ask your grown-up for some help. You want it to go right in the middle. Go ahead and line your stapler up over that so that it's right there in the middle. And then punch it in so that you have a staple. And if you want, sometimes what I do is I'll make a whole bunch of these so that I have them all ready. So like right now, I have a bunch of these prepped so that I can just make a lot of snowflakes. And then you'll just need to repeat the process with this other half. So I got mine a little wet, but that's okay. So you'll just repeat the process. You'll fold this in half, and then in half again, and then in half again. And then you'll have the 8 pleats. You open it up and make sure you fold it like an accordion. Back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Kind of, it's like the size of a gum wrapper on mine for the size I'm making, but yours may be a little bigger if you used a bigger sheet of paper. And I just eyeball it with getting it right in the middle for the staple. So now what we want to do is get our scissors. Make sure you're careful with your scissors, and we're going to cut out some little pieces here. You can make whatever design you want. Each design you make is going to look a little different. I know for this one that I made, you see how it's very fringed up here at the top? I think you can see that. And I did some fringe around the sides like that, just tiny little cuts. And when you open it up, it looks like this. So that's what the fringe made it look like. Everything you do is going to do something special to your snowflake. This one I did a little cut to make it look like a circle with like a little triangle cutout, and then some squares here. And then when you open it up, it looks like this. So I really liked that one with the squares. Let's go ahead and start cutting ours out. You never want to cut all the way through from this side to this side. You want to just cut like part way. So I'll cut out like a triangle here, like that. And then I'll cut another triangle here. And go ahead and get creative with this. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want. Each snowflake can look very unique. I'm going to do a similar cut on this side. Don't worry about it being perfect. When you open it up, it's going to look beautiful. Okay. I think I'm going to give mine a little diagonal cut on the edge there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this end right here. If you have smaller hands and you haven't gotten good at these cuts yet, having a bigger snowflake will be easier for this. I think I'm going to do like a little cutout right here on the side, just like that. And then I'll do the same on this side. Okay. So that's my snowflake right now. And then to open it up, what we do is we take one side, and I'll just peel back one layer, and then try to find the other side, and And then you'll just kind of open it up like that. And fan it out. And then do the same with the other side. Okay, so you're holding it like that. Now what we want to do is we're going to let it down and it's going to kind of go back, but that's okay because we just need it to be open a little bit, like that. Now go ahead and get your glue. Oh, it looks like a cute little bow tie. Go ahead and get your glue, make sure it's open a little bit. And then on the outside of this, we're going to put a tiny dot of glue. Don't put a big glob, okay? Just a tiny dot of glue right there. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and take this other side and press them together. Match up your folds right there. And then just hold them so that the glue is sealing them. I would say count to 30 in your head. And then once it's been 30 seconds, you can release and it should stick together. But just give it a lot of pressure with your fingers right now. Keep holding. Keep holding. We have a gallery on our website, and you can post pictures of your decorations or your art projects. This feels more like a decoration right now that you can put in your window, but every week that we do art club, every other week, we ask that you can post some of your creations so we can see them. Because the librarians really miss having you in the library for our art programs, and it's nice to see what you're making. All right, so we're just going to repeat the step on the other side. So you can just choose one side, put a little dot of glue, just a little tiny bit, and then take that other side, on the other side of that staple, that first layer, and then open it up and hold those two together. So we're going to fan it out and then press those two together so that it will stay. And you can even hold the other side now to give it a little bit more pressure while you're holding this one. Okay. So we're holding, giving it more pressure. This one is good now, so I'll just carefully hold on to it and show you. There's our snowflake. So you can just repeat that process and make each one a little bit different each time. I think the tricky parts are getting all the folds to line up and then making sure that you cut nicely and you don't overcut, because if you cut all the way through, you won't get the full snowflake. And if you want, you can always decorate your paper before so it's colored, or you could put a little glitter glue on the snowflakes to make them sparkle a little bit more. That would be fun too. So once you're done with this and you have more of your snowflakes made, what you can do is take your ribbon, or you can use fishing wire. I also have fishing wire, and I think that's what I'm going to use today because I'm going to make a little garland for my window. And I want the snowflakes to hang down. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of the fishing wire. You can kind of see it on my hand right here. It's so thin, it's clear. You'll barely be able to see it when it's hanging in front of the window, which is what I want. And then you'll just thread it through one of your little openings like this, right here, this one. And I'm gonna tie a little bow. So I go in and I loop it like I'm tying a shoelace. And then I'll tie that tight to make a little knot. So I have one snowflake right there. And then I can decide how long I want this to be, and then I'll just keep dropping some snowflakes down. So I'm going to make my string about this long. You can't see how long it is, but then I can continue to thread some more snowflakes in. So I'll put my second snowflake in right here. And you can tie that one on too. going to go through again. We'll get the long string through this time, which is a little more tricky. But take your time and then tie that into a knot. And now we have two. I want to show you. There's one hanging here at the bottom, and then there's the next one hanging up here. We're going to have a nice little garland hanging in the window. And if you add a little glitter to that, it'll look really pretty too. So they look pretty intricate and pretty cool because they're 3D, but they're actually pretty easy to make. You just have to make this little accordion. So go ahead and make some more and then take some photos and show us in the art gallery what you've made. Hey everyone, I'm back here. I'm going to ask if anyone has any questions now. I'll ask Miss Holly over on Facebook if we have any questions there, and Miss Jennifer here on Zoom.
Hi Heidi, so far there have been no questions at Facebook.
Okay.
And so far, no question on Zoom either.
Okay, great. It means everyone must be doing well with their projects. Let's go ahead and move on then. I wanted to show you some of my favorite Snowflake books. We have a lot in our collection right now. Snowflake Bentley is a really nice picture book that won the Caldecott Medal. And it's about a man, I think he lives in Vermont or New Hampshire, somewhere in New England. And over 100 years ago, he took photos of snowflakes. And it's really cool to learn about his life and how he got the camera to do that, and how he was one of the first people to see what snowflakes look like up close. So right now, you can go to the library to pick up holds, but we are no longer doing lobby service because of the purple tier in the county. So if you're interested in getting books, you can place holds for them and then go pick them up at your local library. And like I was saying in the video, we would love to see your snowflakes. So if you want to, you can go to the website here on the slide and you can post your artwork for us to see. The librarians really miss seeing all of your art projects that we do at the library, and we'd love to see what you made at home. And finally, in 2 weeks, we have our next art club on the 15th. We're going to be making stained glass and puffy snowmen. And I believe that the Zoom registration is full, but you can watch on Facebook where we will be streaming live and we will keep the recording. And you can go back and do any of our previous art clubs if you go to Facebook and look at our recordings. Okay. Let's see, did anyone have any last minute questions?
Nothing on Facebook. It's perfect over here. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.